Charles Darwin was born in 1809, which was a time when people believed God had personally arranged every animal on Earth like ornaments on a very large mantelpiece. Young Charles was expected to become a doctor, but he quickly discovered he didn't enjoy the sight of blood, screaming patients, or doctors, which ruled out most of medicine. Instead, he went to study to be a vicar, mainly because it involved long walks, thinking about beetles, and not being shouted at by surgeons. Darwin was extremely fond of beetles. In fact, he once tried to carry so many beetles at once that one of them escaped into his mouth, which science later called the first peer-reviewed snap. His life changed when he was invited to sail on HMS Beagle, a ship named after a dog, even though it was technically a boat. The voyage was meant to last 2 years, but went on for 5, possibly because the captain kept stopping to ask for directions from turtles. Darwin visited the Galapagos Islands, where he noticed that the finches were all slightly different, like a collection of spoons that had attended different schools. This led him to wonder whether animals might change over time, instead of arriving fully assembled like Victorian furniture. He called this idea natural selection, which is basically nature saying, "I like that one, the rest can go in the loft." Darwin spent years thinking about his theory, partly because he wanted to be sure, and partly because he was terrified that Victorian society would react by fainting onto a chaise longue. He filled notebooks with careful observations such as pigeons, surprisingly complicated, and worms, doing more than we think emotionally. In 1859, he finally published On the Origin of Species, a book that politely suggested humans might be related to monkeys, which many humans took as a personal insult. Some people said the theory was dangerous, others said it was brilliant, and a few misheard it and thought Darwin had invented oranges. Despite the controversy, Darwin was a gentle, slightly anxious man who preferred gardening to arguments. He suffered from mysterious illnesses, possibly caused by stress, seasickness, or accidentally thinking too hard about barnacles. He studied those for 8 years, which is longer than most people spend studying their own children. Darwin died in 1882 and was buried in Westminster Abbey, proving that even the church eventually decided evolution was at least worth a good seat at the funeral. His ideas changed how we understand life, nature, and why some relatives are better adapted to Christmas dinner than others. Today he is remembered as the man who explained where we came from, why peacocks look so pleased with themselves, and how a perfectly respectable Victorian hobby like staring at pigeons can accidentally rewrite the entire story of existence.